early 1900s, many Pittsburgh women campaigned for the right to vote. They faced great challenges stemming from the era's strict gender roles that limited women's involvement in the public sphere, making it difficult for them to share their arguments and advocate. In the face of this adversity, Pittsburgh suffragists developed ingeniously creative ways to promote their message. One of the suffragists' strokes of genius was using sports as a tool for capturing an audience. Long before the advent of radio and television, newspapers would post updated game scores in their windows throughout the day for local sports fans' enjoyment. During the 1915 World Series, the sidewalks and streets around Pittsburgh newspaper offices became so congested that City Council banned window posters. Sisters Eliza and Lucy Kennedy saw this as an opportunity and grabbed it. They convinced the owner of Jenkins Arcade to allow them to announce baseball scores from inside the arcade. Eliza and Lucy then persuaded the newspapers to phone them the score updates, which suffragist volunteers would immediately announce to the hundreds of anxiously awaiting fans in the arcade. During breaks, while waiting for the latest scores, the suffragists made their case for giving women the vote. The unlikely matchup of suffrage and sports was a hit. In 1916, Winifred Meeks Morris spearheaded the Equal Franchise Federation's Shirtwaist Ball, a one-of-a-kind party that brought together people from diverse socioeconomic levels to compete and create the best shirtwaist, a popular type of blouse at the time. The event, held in Motor Square Garden, was full of dancing, edible treats, performances, and finally, the competition. Suffragists used the event as an opportunity to raise funds and awareness. Over 3,000 people attended. Everyone from factory girls to society dubs was there, making the celebration a huge success. The Shirtwaist Ball raised over $2,500, the equivalent of about $60,000 in today's dollars, for the Pennsylvania Women's Suffrage Association. Suffragists found clever ways to spread their message beyond the city's borders. The suffrage cookbook, created right here in Pittsburgh, became popular all across Pennsylvania. Compiled by Mrs. Laura Kleber, this book contained recipes from 22 contributors that ranged from soups and stews to meats, sandwiches, puddings, and pies. The book served a dual purpose. It spread the suffrage message beyond Allegheny County, and under the domestic guise of recipes, it served as an argument against claims that suffragists were bad wives and mothers. Pittsburgh suffragists earned attention in the city by incorporating unconventional elements. For example, their May 2, 1914 parade, led by Jenny Bradley Rosling, Lucy Kennedy, and Mary Bakewell, was uncommonly inclusive for the era. Unlike in other U.S. cities, in Pittsburgh, African American women were included in this major suffrage effort. In addition to featuring notable Caucasian women, leading African American women marched in the center of the 1914 parade lineup. Following Rosling, Bakewell, and Kennedy were 10 girls dressed in white, with yellow sashes to represent the 10 states that had already passed voting rights laws for women. Then came a contingent of representatives from the National Association of Colored Women. Men, including several city councilmen, were also in the parade, emphasizing that the fight to earn the vote needed to be a collective effort. Female students from Chatham College followed, as did festive marching bands, Boy Scouts, and a motorcade. By the early 1900s, yellow became the color of the suffrage movement. Campaigning women distributed packets of yellow flower seeds at rallies across Pennsylvania. As yellow flower gardens began sprouting up throughout the Commonwealth, legislators were reminded of their constituents' support for women's suffrage. Despite the societal and technological constraints that Pittsburgh women faced during their struggle to gain the vote, this region's suffragists consistently innovated ways to raise awareness and gain wide support for women's suffrage.